Hello. I just thought I'd make this video while I was out and about getting some fresh air, because frankly I needed some fresh air. Past couple of days I've been really rather unwell and really rather housebound. I had a whole day of very fruitful meetings in Newcastle at the beginning of the week, and I seem to have picked something up while I was there, so I'm not immune to Newcastle. But it's meant that I got a little bit of cabin fever, and I thought, well, I'll get some fresh air and I'll make this video. Now today I was going to be making an Archaeoscope video examining symmetry. Yes, symmetry. You see, in the past couple of days I've had a conversation with a friend of mine who makes costumes for a theatre company, and she was talking about the importance of symmetry in designing clothes, and this led us on to talk about symmetry well, in general, symmetry in archaeology, for example, in the evolution of humanity and human brains, how we think about what's beautiful and what's not beautiful, and the interplay of symmetry and asymmetry, and how this shapes so many aspects of what we think about as being inherently human culture, and well, what it is to be a human being. And this was so interesting, I wanted to make an Archaeoscope to put it out there and have you guys talk about it. Now, as interesting as that video would have been, indeed will be, I didn't want to take away from Video 600's thunder. You see, I really wanted also to make this video, and this video will be Video 599. You see, in recent days and weeks, in the run-up to Video 600, I've been receiving lots of queries about where Archaeosoup is going, in particular the different series that we produce on the YouTube channel. And I thought, well, actually this is a great opportunity to answer those questions. And it occurred to me that the Archaeoscope video would then be pushed to 600, and well, I want 600 to be the celebration video, which incidentally, yesterday, Dathi Dublin shared a remarkable little piece that he had filmed about a local ruin close to him, and it really encapsulates what I was hoping for, exploring otherwise unknown little archaeological gems, and he seemed to enjoy doing it. Incidentally as well, people have been messaging me having seen that video saying, oh, don't publish it just yet, wait, I've got a picture to send you. So that's going to be coming your way on Tuesday, Video 600 that is, because on Monday I've got a rather scary presentation to give to, well, up to 100 teachers about archaeology and the new national curriculum. And then on Wednesday you can expect the Archaeoscope video, which I was going to make today. But do definitely check out Dathi Dublin's video, it's well worth a watch, so take a look. And if you quickly want to do something over the weekend, you've got until probably Monday evening my time to get it to me. So this video is kind of a pre-Video 600 summary of where Archaeosoup is and where your favourite video series is going and currently is. I'm going to be answering the questions in the order that they appear, or rather the channels appear, on archaeosoup.com, and well, hopefully this will answer some of your questions and won't get in the way of Video 600 on Tuesday. So first of all, the Archaeo Scoop videos. Yes, they are still very much an important part of Archaeosoup, and I continue to try and publish this sort of summary of archaeological news once a week. This week there won't be an Archaeo Scoop because, as I say, I'm trying not to stomp on Video 600, but you can, as ever, keep up to date with news stories via the Twitter feed. All you need to do is go to the Archaeosoup YouTube homepage, click on the blue bird, and even if you're not a member of Twitter, you'll be able to see the links which we've put up today and in the past few days. Incidentally, today there's a great news story about a really colourful collar for an Egyptian mummy. With regards to the Archifacts videos, I'm happy to say that yes, they are continuing, although some of you seem to want more than one a week. Now, I don't know about you, but one a week is fine, really, isn't it? I mean, 2 minutes of an interesting fact does take a little bit of time to research, but also, I don't know, you can have too much of a good thing, and that's almost 50 a year, so I think one a week is fine for now. But Archifacts is very much continuing, and I believe the most recent one was Video 68. What about aspects of archaeology and the A to Z of archaeology? Well, I continue to adore those series. It's a real pleasure breaking down fairly complicated ideas into approachable bite-sized sort of chunks. There is actually a list on my phone, ever-growing list of topics I want to cover on aspects of archaeology, and the A to Z of archaeology, I have to say, is finished. I'm not going to add Greek letters to the alphabet after all. However, there are plans to continue with that series. Now, some of you have noticed that the previous aspects of archaeology, the one before the most recent one, was filmed almost a year before the most recent one. And yes, it did take me a while to continue that series. But future plans for the aspects of archaeology are very much alive and well, and hopefully it won't be a year before you see the next instalment. What about Jindiana Bones? Quite a few of you have been asking, is he even still around? What's going on with him? Well, as you're probably aware, he has promised to make a series of tips or tipples videos exploring his perspective on what might be useful for archaeologists in the field. And also as well, he continues to play a role in talking about some serious issues as well. For example, battlefield archaeology and his work with Mortimer. Jindiana Bones is still very much part of Archaeosoup, and he, like me, has just been very busy. In fact, he's often invited to bars, apparently. I'm often having to pick him up, where apparently he's been invited to talk on archaeology. I'm not convinced. I think he may just be out enjoying the gin. What about the hidden histories and the in focus videos? Well, I lump those two together because they're very similar in the way that I put them together. They need to be researched, appropriate images need to be found, and of course those images need to be usable. That is to say that some finds and some archaeologists are very precious about their photographs. So occasionally there might be copyright issues, so I can't always do the videos that I want. That said though, just like aspects of archaeology, I have a big list on my phone of topics that I really want to cover. I'm really excited about some of these topics, and they will be coming as and when I can make them. Needless to say though, they're very interesting, and I do love making those videos. So worry not, those videos, hidden histories and in focus, are still part of Archaeosoup. What about Meet the Archaeologist? Well, that's far from a load of old rubbish. Lots of you have said just how much you enjoy that series, and it's been a real pleasure gathering together different perspectives on archaeology, and this is set to continue. On the list are several people I'm yet to interview, including the legendary Rosemary Cramp, who actually, just after 5 minutes of talking to her casually, you realise just how impressive an archaeological career she has had. So the plans for that series are still very much a go, and crucially, I continue to find new and interesting people to interview, so don't worry. What about questions of doom? Many of you want to know whether it's worthwhile sending in your questions still. The answer is yes. Indeed, I recently received a question which will see me in the very near future probably having to film in a bath. But don't worry, there'll be plenty of bubbles. You won't see anything you don't want to. But the point is, I really do enjoy answering those questions. More often than not, they're questions which an archaeologist simply wouldn't think to answer. The fact that many of you are simply interested in archaeology and haven't necessarily had formal training means that you're asking really interesting questions. Please do continue to send them in. Many of you want to know what's happening with Archaeology Gastronomy. You really enjoyed the first series looking at ancient Greek food, tying in with the Olympics here in the UK, and you want to know, well, when's the next fix coming? Well, the only limit on that has been time, once again, but also as well the availability of Nicola at 41 Feasts, my my partner in that series, the cook, as it were. Now, she's been going through an adoption process, which has meant that her time has been very pressured and precious. But in the very near future, that will be complete. Now, she's talking about filming the next series before Christmas. I'm less optimistic on that. Christmas is always a very busy time. But nonetheless, certainly in the first couple of months or few months of 2014, you should start to see the new series of Archaeology Gastronomy. We're going to be looking at Saxon and Viking food, incidentally. And actually, one of my viewers has already sent in a recipe book that we're probably going to be using a couple of recipes out of, and of course we'll reference him, don't worry. And then after that, actually, the third series may well look at ancient Chinese food, because Nicola over at 41 Feasts absolutely loves cooking real Chinese food. She loves Chinese cuisine and would like to look into the origins of that, so that should be really interesting. Some of you really enjoy the Archaeoscope series and are looking forward to hearing more interesting thoughts that they can chew over and then comment on in the video below. I found them really useful, bringing ideas that just pop into my head and sharing them with you, kind of like an inversed Questions of Doom. Now, crucially, yes, that series is going to continue. Indeed, today I was going to record an Archaeoscope about symmetry. So it's very much a priority for Archaeosoup still. What about experimental soup? Well, experimental soup is still very much a priority, and I really do enjoy some of the experiments and planning them and figuring out how on earth we're going to make this happen on a video. As ever, it's just about time and finding the time to make that video happen. But experimental soup remains a priority, and it will be coming back to the screen soon. Finally, we have Archaeology in Oceania and how humans happen. I'm really pleased that this year we've seen an expansion of the faces that you see on Archaeosoup beyond me. Mainly because, well, frankly, I don't know everything, and I'm happy to admit that. But also as well because the opportunities in sharing knowledge from other parts of the world, other forms of archaeology, were simply too good to turn down. So I was really pleased when Rhys Booth, especially from Australia, but also Charles Clark, an evolutionary anthropologist, offered to make videos for Archaeosoup. Those videos have been largely well received by you, and I'm happy to say that the quality will continue to rise. The content, though, is excellent. Really interesting stuff being discussed and recorded and shared. And what I would say is, actually, far from limiting it to those guys, if you want to record something for Archaeosoup about an aspect of archaeology, an element of a local site that you find interesting, please do get involved. I'm all about letting people have a stage from which to share their passion and also their thoughts about the past. So there you have it, a series by series breakdown of where Archaeosoup is at, and to a certain extent where we're going. I'm really optimistic about the future for Archaeosoup. The rate at which things have grown for Archaeosoup as a YouTube channel, as a business, but also for me personally as a filmmaker and an archaeologist, have really given me cause for optimism for the near future and also years to come. So I couldn't be more excited about what's on the horizon. This could only have happened with your support, so once again, thank you so much for watching these videos, for commenting in interesting ways, and for asking really interesting questions. If you want to contribute to Archaeosoup, please do send me an email and we'll have a chat. And if you want to contribute to video 600 coming on Tuesday, all you need to do is send an image or a short video with some text about what this thing is to archaeosoup@gmail.com. Now I'll end just by pointing out this really interesting ghetto cricket stump here. Very few other places in the world would you find a cricket stump in a playground. And also by wishing you a really good weekend. Do take care, have a great time, and I'll see you after the slightly scary presentation on Monday, on Tuesday, with video 600. Bye bye.